Hey y'all, it's Niccara
And Brandon,
and welcome to another episode of ... but make it books.
a podcast where we are bookishly healing through life.
Yes. So as we start all podcasts, check in.
Yes. Yes, indeed. How are you? Checking in.
Obviously not well, because I messed up this intro 3 times, but you guys will get the finished product. So
Yes.
shout out to y'all.
Exactly.
But good, just busy. Really just trying to get my mind wrapped around like the summer and actually enjoying it. It's been like raining every single time.
Yeah.
So I've not really enjoyed my pool. And like today would be the perfect time to go to the pool, but I am working until like 5. So I guess I'm not going to the pool.
Yeah.
So, okay. But I'm going to find joy.
Yeah.
There is joy in the morning.
Yeah. There is joy in the morning.
There is joy in the morning.
I haven't found the pool yet either. But I've been meaning to go with my friend on a hike. Couple hikes, so maybe soon.
Are you on the Sugarloaf?
Like, that's the thing, I think so. Like,
Yeah.
I've heard so many names of like places that I've never been
yeah.
that we could go hike and all this stuff. but
Sugarloaf
it's
is the
like-
best because it has a winery at the bottom.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Oh, well,
and a
then
lavender
that's
farm
the
not too far away. So
Sugarloaf.
Sugarloaf and the outlets are not too far.
Bet. Oh, we'll see. I can't outlet right now.
Yes,
You
I
can't-
understand.
I can window shop. I can window
Yeah.
shop lit, but I can't outlet. You know, whatever. We
I
gotta be
feel that. I
careful.
feel that. But the winery is really good.
I love that though. That sounds really dope.
Yeah.
No, but I'm also like I could just use a nap.
Yeah.
I could use a nap. Yeah,
Yes.
You know, and I think that's okay today.
Yes, especially for the book we're
today,
discussing.
you know, I could truly just use
Yeah.
a nap. But you know, all is well and good, and
You're living.
yeah.
You're
for sure.
living. So it's so funny you said nap. And that's what we're talking about
Yeah,
today.
yeah, yeah.
But this book is more than naps. Okay? Just because she is the founder of Nap Ministry doesn't mean it is just naps. So we're talking about Rest is Resistance, which actually you introduced me to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was hesitant on picking it up because I knew it was going to read me for filth, and it did. But now that I am preaching the gospel of the Nap Ministry, let's just get into the synopsis. So it is a illuminating light on our troubled relationship with rest and how to imagine, dream our way to a future where rest is exalted. Our worth does not reside in how much we produce, especially not for a system that exploits and dehumanizes us. Rest is its simplest form, becomes an act of resistance and a reclaiming of power because it asserts our most basic humanity. We are enough. The system cannot have us. Rest is resistance is rooted in spiritual energy and centered in Black liberation, womanism, and Afrofuturism, with captivating storytelling and practical advice, all delivered in lyrical voice and informed by our deep experience in theology, activism, and performing art. Rest is Resistance is a call to action, a battle cry, a field guide, and a manifesto for all of us who are sleep deprived, searching for justice, and longing to be liberated from the oppressive grip of grind culture. That's loaded.
Yeah, indeed.
It is loaded.
Yeah, for sure.
So for our snowball, how do you practice rest, and what has stopped you before from practicing that rest? I know, a loaded question for a loaded book.
I mean, I think really like actually, yeah, okay, all right. Here we go. I've been practicing rest lately by I don't know if this is healthy or whatever, but sort of detaching and dissociating. I thought about this metaphor the other day. So I believe we all have a garden. However you present it is what it is. We all have a garden. So me personally, I went through this period of massively weeding my garden a little over a year ago. And I think that was the beginning of my rest journey and like really transforming and turning things. Like I was like taking everything up, like almost started from scratch.
Yeah. But
But now I'm realizing, I'm now in a place where it's like, I'm buying better mulch. Or better soil rather. I am, I've upgraded my sun hat, all that stuff, whatever, It's like, I'm also in the place of like replanting some things that I probably shouldn't have uprooted. But, I think, and for me, that's what rest has been lately. It's been really putting an end to a lot of things and realizing where, it's like, I need to take better care of this garden. And that is where I feel like I've been for a little while in my life of like making sure that, you know, I'm straight and I'm good, because it's like a lot of things were like, you know, I had mites, I had weeds, I had, you know, leeches, I had slugs, I had all kinds of stuff in my garden. Now it's looking a little bare, but you know, hope springs eternal. You know, and like, you know, we've done some replanting and, you know, some sowing and things like that. So, you know, I feel like it's funny. It's like, that's why I was like, I don't know why I'm dancing around it. I thought about this when I was writing the other day. It's like, oh, this is very clear. Yeah. So that's kind of the best way I could put my rest journey, which is interesting, because gardening can be a very restful, like tangible practice. So I don't know. Yeah.
Rest for me lately has been looking like not always having to be on. And what has stopped me before is the perception of others' perceptions of me, thinking that I'm not lazy or I'm not doing enough or I could be doing more. And I'm realizing, like, who's saying that I'm not doing enough but me? And so I will be baked into the rest of liberating myself that I am not enough and I'm not doing enough. And honestly, I've been bottling up things and like just letting out good cries. I used to think like crying was weakness, but I'm like, sometimes it's only cleansing matter you can do. And then also like just walking and sleeping when I need to. And it's been really, really powerful for me. Like today, when I'm done today, like that is it. Like when 6 o'clock or 7 rolls around and I log off for the day, that is it. I don't care. I might even turn off my phone because I deserve it. Like, I did that one time. I turned off my phone for a weekend, just let all my friends know, like, hey, like, I'm here. I love you guys. But, like, I'm disengaging for a weekend. And that was impactful. And I'm like, why haven't I done that before? I'm just like, I'm always worrying about, like, these things of, like, what if and, like, all those things surrounding my headspace. And it's only but me doing it. And people will figure it out. I also learned that. People will figure it out. People will figure it out. Yes.
That part right there.
People will figure it.
Ashe on that.
Ashe.
And, you know, I think, because I don't think I answered this part, I'll say that lack of trust in that statement is what kept me from resting. Like, you see your question of, like, and what prevented you before is, like, not just letting other people figure it out.
Yes.
Or not letting other people go through it, or feeling like, as a solutionist, because I do feel like I'm like there's a solution for every problem, right? And so trying to find it always, it's like, I don't have to. No. They can. You know what I mean? They really can. And so that definitely, I would say, has gotten in the way of me tending to my garden.
Honestly, hard same. Hard same. I'm there with you.
Yeah.
Like, I recently did that when I was in New Orleans for work. And I just let everybody else figure out what we're going to do the rest of the night. I was like, I don't care what we do. They don't got nothing to do with me. I don't care. I'm here for the good times, not the long times. So y'all will figure it out. And so I don't always have to be like the leader. I don't always have to be the person.
And it's interesting because I think back to, like, you know, I went out one time. This was a few years back for a friend's thing, and it was like a large group of us. And first off, that's red flag number one. Like, I'm like, if it's for somebody's birthday, I'm like, oh my God.
Me too. I'm the person who hates it.
And this is true really in this story. It's like we got to this like this beer and food truck festival thing or what have you, music, vendors, all that stuff. Everybody's group of like 20 people all standing around. Where are we going? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Where are we going? Blah, 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 blah. I see the bar vendor that I want to go to, so I just walk my black behind over there, and I start handing mine. Then next thing you know, I get my drink turned around. There's the mass of people be like, "Oh, what you got? Where'd you go? What you did? What you?" I just went and got me. Like, I just went and got me. It's okay. You know,
we don't have to all eat the same thing.
We're literally at a festival where we do not have to do that. So just go do your thing and we'll clink up wherever. I don't know. Anyway, that just reminded me. Like, you really do. It's like it's like the
cycle.
Yeah, the group think.
Yes, the group think. So this book, first I want to start with your thoughts of it. Like, what did you feel?
Yeah, I felt, let's see. At first read, I felt affirmed, I have to say. Because, all right, let's go slow. First, I felt affirmed. I didn't know why I felt affirmed, but I knew I felt affirmed.
Okay.
I was like, this all resonates. This is all in me. This is all what I've been saying. This is
Yeah.
all what I've been trying to do. Like, da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And then I felt foolish. Because I realized that I let this culture detract me from who I am.
Okay.
And I've been growing up. It's like, it made me go back to things like when you were growing and you were being shaped and transformed and nurtured into this thing that you should be, right? You're told and fed and morphed, manipulated into ways that align with another way of thinking and something that is more standard, something that is more acceptable, more average, more normal.
Whatever that is.
Whatever that is. But the thing is, like, what everybody is doing is normal. What everybody's doing is average.
Yeah.
And I've never quite, not so humbly, I've never been average.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm
a weirdo.
You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, and that's a beautiful thing. It's like, I've never, like, my mom put in me, it's like, you are the leader, not a follower. You know what I mean? It's like, you're not so, high up in the air that you don't know who you're leading.
Yes.
But at the same time, I failed in that because I still became this thing that became the norm. And so it's like, I was like, wow. So I really do have to, like, look in this mirror and kind of, like, grieve this part of me that I know I've always been. Like, from a child, like, I would ask questions that for other people would be like, wait, why are you saying that? Or why are you thinking that? Or whatever. It's because I'm resisting. I'm fighting back. But I don't know how to fight back because I've been trained and taught to do this thing that you've been trained and taught and that you've been passing on to me. And now here we are, K through 12, growing up. So I don't know. This moment was so, like, duh, but so, like, okay, so what do you want to do?
Yeah, what you gonna do about it now?
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I felt the same way. It felt like a sleeping giant was, like, coming up out of its rest. I felt the same thing, that, like, the same wave of emotions you felt. Affirming. I was like, yeah, say it some more, girl. And then I'm like, yeah, but girl, reading me, you just read me too, low key. Because I'm like, why did I also bake in these systems that I know are not good or healthy, but I felt like I needed to do it to attain or achieve whatever metrics or goals that are made up and have been made up by humans over and over again. And what happens if I put myself first in terms of my rest and my mental health? What then happens? Will things fall apart, or will things just, like, they will figure themselves out?
Yeah.
Like, what? Why am I so scared to bake into me and rest? Because when all is said and done and the job is done, or you may pass away from it, they're going to replace your job in like 3 days. But, the life you lived and who you impacted is going to be really important.
Yeah.
So I definitely think about that. And you kind of touched on something that is on my next question. Have you seen folks in your family practice rest, as she was talking about in the book, like that you have witnessed and seen?
I mean, I think in their ways, it's like, this is a theme in the book, theology, and religion and spirituality is a very big part in my family. Growing up, like, I have ministers and we all grew up in the church. If we don't hold some sort of, like, my grandfather's a deacon, my dad's a deacon, it's like I was in, like, the joy choir and the youth choir and, like, all these things, like the step team and, like, all this stuff. You just grow up in the church, right? And so you find, I think, the level of rest that she was speaking with in that commune with God and of your higher, or whatever your higher power may be. So it's like, and that should be a daily practice. That should be something that you cast your cares, you come and you lay it all down at the altar, right? Like, that should be a moment of rest for you. And so I feel my family very much practices, like, in prayer and devotion and, attendance. And I think that's the number one way. I think other ways, it's like I see my grandparents doing it now, but, like, they're retired. Right. You know what I mean? And so it's like, whereas like, my dad is still, like, mid-50s, working, grinding, doing his thing, still, got his own thing on the side and still clocking in somewhere. I mean, shoot, it's not just my dad, it's my, everybody. It's like my mom, my stepmom, my stepdad, like everybody's still kind of clocking in somewhere. It's like, I'll say this, my stepdad, a few years ago, he got offered like a higher position at his job. And I never said this, and I don't know when I'll say this, if I will. But, he appreciated that, and I know he might have taken like the higher pay or whatever. He might have. But he didn't take the higher position because he was like, I'm not, I don't want to be doing all that. I'm, at that point, like pretty newly married. Like he and my mom have not been married all that long. Got a new house. Like he's got a lot of stuff that he wants to like tend to for himself. So like, again, later in his years, but I saw that switch of saying, no, I'm not going to get caught up being the foreman here when I have this whole situation that is mine that needs me, and I want to give myself to it. Yeah. And I say that because I think that correlation happened sometime when I was in Richmond, where I had an opportunity to move up and really be a part of something on a larger level. But I had to make the decision, like, this is not going to provide, again, like, this is why it's like, I felt these things for so long. I knew at that time that wasn't going to give me the rest that my spirit, my everything bigger than my physical manifestation needed. Yeah. I knew it wasn't. And to this day, it's like, I mean, I know one person who's still at that situation, and it's like, it's not going well. Yeah. And I knew that. So, I don't know. It's like little things like that where it's like, I see it. I think the question is always like, how do we do it now? But like, and granted, like I'm from one of those families where like I am on the younger end, and I'm in like my early 30s now. So like everybody else is like on the older end, Majority of my family is like past 50.
Yeah. I thought about it too as I was creating the questions, and
past 40.
Huh?
No, go ahead.
And I don't know. I don't think I've ever really seen my family ever practice rest besides like the traditional religious standpoints. I think that sometimes they believe that the religion aspect is the supplement for rest, but it's really not rest if you are doing something for everyone. One, you have to get us all up to go to church. You have to get us dressed, do our hair, get us in there. Then there's food at the end. And then my grandpa, when he was still living, he would cook it. And then he would go and then like smoke a cigarette on the porch, and then be done. I've seen him more rest, I felt like, than the women in my family. I've seen more of the men in my family practice rest more than the women. And I think it's always because women, especially in like patriarchal structures, feels like they always can be doing more, whether it's their kids, their grandkids, or just their house. And I'm like, even now my grandma can't sit still. Her sitting still right now is like making her so annoyed. And then my mom's side of the family, both of my grandparents have passed, and I've never actually seen them practice rest towards the end of their life. And I think they think vacation is that rest, but it's like, no, like daily practicings of rest, I don't think I've ever seen that. It's always like you always got to do something. The, idle hands are the devil's playground, right? Like how many times have we heard that? And that it's not a form of rest. Yeah. It's just a form of working all the time, doing something else. And so I would love to break that curse within my family. Like, hey, we're going to just be vegetables today, like couch potatoes. We're all going to eat ridiculous cereal and just watch TV, play outside, do what you want. We're watching you, me and your daddy. Watching you go play, but like just practice rest of just like you can do whatever you want, and not for like some holidays, like not just for Mother's Day or Father's Day, like actually like concernedly practicing rest. And so I will be challenging my family of that, because I think that's something that I haven't really seen. So how has grind culture like shown up for you? Like, as you're reading this book, listening to this book, whatever you're doing, or however you digested it, how would she express grind culture? How did it really show up for you?
Yeah, I'm sparing you my how I digested it, because if I brought you my copy of the book...
Yes, we know. It will look like everything that I hate about that.
See that generosity? As white supremacy. Hands down. Yeah. Hands down. And that was And this is why I was like so wild, because I didn't grow up. How do I say this? Wow. I didn't grow up. Like I was black. Like I knew I was black, and I know I'm black. And we talk like we use Negro or like black this or whatever. It's like I knew who I was.
Yeah.
And it's like my aunt, who's now passed. She was white. And so I knew that there was a difference there, and I knew that there was a difference between my cousins, with my 3 cousins who are biracial, black and white. So it's like I knew social structural things like that, right? But I didn't really get like the takeoff into what whiteness is and how it's affected everything until high school.
Okay.
I didn't get that reality until I went to a high school that was like traditionally one part, round the way and one part redneck pull up in the Chevy. Yeah. Like I was like, wait, there's something very disparate here. Yeah. It's like there's something because even in high school where all my teachers were, in middle school where all my teachers were predominantly white, we were all still like 80% black and Latino. There's like still so many of people that look like me running around, my friends, everything like that. Again, but it's like, I really knew what it meant at 16 specifically when, I got told, oh no, I just wanted to make out with you because I wanted to, see a black guy. You know what I mean? That was the first time it clicked for me, right? Yeah. So, and then it like not everything changed, but everything changed from there. And but I always knew that something was different. I always knew something was dormant within me, but I couldn't place it because I kept on having to like be told to be a part of something that just wasn't in my natural, natural like movement. Yeah. And as things came up, I realized we're always fighting and going and working, and like the goal settings, the mile markers were always looked different than the way I felt like they could look, not should look, but could look. And I for something, again, didn't have the words for it, but I knew it was something disparate. I knew it was something oppressive. I knew it was something systematic. I just hadn't had the education on the terminology for it. And so again, it's just like growing up and moving through all this into college, being very well versed in it and having the words for it and the language for it and having read books on it and all this stuff. I really felt like I had to learn that this whole thing is built on a grind culture. This whole everything is built on a grind culture. Yes. And we this is why like our rest is our reparation. Yes. And you know what I mean, in a lot of ways. And it's like I had to realize that, for me, it is almost as omnipresent as God. It's almost as, which is why it's interesting that theme is so strong in this book as well. But white supremacy is everywhere, therefore grind culture is everywhere, and we're always trying to keep up with the Joneses. We're always trying to hit the marks. We're always trying to, and a lot of us have conditioned ourselves into thinking it's because we're trying to be bigger, better, faster, whatever. Like, it's one thing to like be ambitious, like we discussed before with Black Buck, and it's another thing to like again want to move forward and do more and like be like have goals. Yeah. But it is another to realize that it's all attributed to and contributing to something that has been a part of this grand design for the land that we walk right now. Yes. And so for me, it's like, I've definitely started my process of, again, detachment from things like that, because it's not where I want to be. Yeah. I thought I wanted it so bad. That's the other thing. I thought I wanted
the dream of capitalism. Yeah. And so that's what I was doing. I was Googling the definition of capitalism, but I also, when you talk about ground culture and white supremacy, what I always think about is the notion that every single black child gets. You have to be twice as good to get half as much, right? Mm-hmm. And for me, I'm like, I'm not doing that no more. I'm not doing that. And let me tell you something. Excuse me. When I know I'm the sugar honey iced tea, so whenever I walk in a room, I know I'm it. Yeah. So I will not be passing that on to my children. Yes. And I think that has warped my mind, that I keep chasing for this imagined thing of capitalism, which is supposed to be a merit-based system, when we know the merits are different for everybody. And so when we look at the definition of capitalism, it says an economic and political system in which a country's trade and industry are controlled by private owners for profit. A free market capitalist system, which is different because this entire country was made on free labor. So we're still recouping millions of dollars. That's one of the main reasons that America is a superpower today. Yeah. Because we have been able to use free labor, human chattel, us, black people in this country, to propel this country forward and make it what it is today. And so my thinking of grind culture is I am taking back all of those things and I am baking into rest. I don't have to be twice as good as anybody else, because guess what? They put up their worst and it's still not as good as our best. If anything, and I'm not trying to get into people's political beliefs, but the facts are the facts. We have President Obama, who has an Ivy League wife and an Ivy League family. And then you have Trump.
Yeah.
Who has multiple bankrupt businesses, multiple failed marriages, multiple baby mamas. And then you have this one man who we're supposed to look towards to highlight, like, your president is supposed to be the person that you look to emulate things that we would like out of, like, higher standards.
Yeah.
And so, I'm sorry, no. I'm not baking into your systems. I'm not doing it anymore. And this is also freeing for other people who are not the 1% of, like, whether you're black, white, polka dotted, whatever. Baking into white supremacy does nothing for you, but make you realize that you have none of the money that bakes into that system.
Yes. Woo.
Like, you have none of the money that bakes into the system. You are not of the 1%. And that also is for people who think they're above the fray, who are even within my culture, in my society, who think that money will separate you. And I know we are canceling Kanye, but the one thing he said very well is, in College Dropout, is like, just because you in a biz, you still in a coup. Yeah. Like, it don't matter however you dress it up or dance around it, you are still baked into that system.
Yeah, you're still part of it. I mean, and therein lies the resistance part. It's like you have to go on this mass exodus, almost like the spiritual exodus, in order to, like, remove yourself from all of that, like, to actually uproot yourself, like, almost excommunicate. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
literally.
I mean, because I don't know. You know, now we've all, you know, you talk about the superpower. It's like, you know, we've all kind of adhered to it. It's like, you know, it's like most of these fashion warehouses are nowhere in America.
Yes.
You know, most of these, most of the places where we get our resources are not actually here.
Yes.
So it's like, we're all contributing to it.
Yes.
You know, like, now, one great big jacked up family.
Yeah, we are a family.
In everybody's pocket and everything.
Yes. So before we close, what is something that you would like our listeners to take away from this book and why they should pick it up?
Rest is not laziness. It's not doing nothing. It's the alternative to everything, actually. It is the key to unlocking your potential, actually. Yes. Like, it is, you know, Tricia cites Harriet Tubman and her work, because, you know, she suffered from fainting spells and so forth, but, you know, for her, that was a chance to nap and commune with God and be with him. So really, I feel as though napping, resting, is a chance for you to commune. So that's also something that I would like for you to do, whether it be with whatever your higher power is, whatever, because I also just feel as though you can commune with yourself, not in a higher power sense, but in a very real I'm here type of sense. Like, I need to rest, like, not even like a reset, like, just like a moment. Yes. You know, and it does not, again, it's not nothing. It's not nothing. Rest is not nothing. It's not laziness. It's a very active thing, actually. Yeah. Like, you're literally breathing while you're, like, it's quite literally active. So that notion, I would love to be completely abolished.
Yeah. And then for me, I guess, like, go touch some grass. Like, go do some grounding practices, like learning just to be, like, in the sun, or just, like, literally going to your local park or going outside your home and just, like, take your shoes off and go touch some grass, like, with your feet, and really practicing that grounding principles. I know it sounds like very hippie and, like, not really of woo-woo, but it is really affirming of yourself, and it really, to me, taught me, like you said, that rest is not lazy. Rest is actually empowering. And it really does unlock certain things within you and give you extra brain power throughout your day to think.
Yeah. I mean, because it's like you have, again, that's the grind culture. Like the grind culture is also meant to remove you from you. Ever meant to put you inside of the system that is meant to make this entity or this image go on. Like we're humanizing this machine, not the actual humans
who are
right?
living, breathing.
So you got to make sure that you are like mindful of the fact that you can play the grind game if you want to. You will lose in the long scheme, and it don't matter how many Lambos or Cuban links or whatever you got. You lose in the grand scheme because you still play it into their hands.
Yes. Amen. Amen.
And with that,
yes.
Thank y'all so much for yet another episode of But Make It Books. Our pod where we are bookishly healing through life. I think it's okay to say something.
Yes, you can lead.
All I'll say is that y'all get y'all ducats in a row. The
for
Renaissance tour is coming through Charm City Books. No, I'm joking. No, we are gonna have our first live event in October. October 5th. So we'll keep everything.
Featuring one of the authors.
One of the authors that you see here. Yeah.
You can make your guess. Somebody here.
Take your guess.
Take your guess.
Take your guess. Let me tell you something. I know it's not, but like, look.
We can't have a hologram.
I know. Listen, we're gonna figure it out. I don't know. Look, don't take him off the table. Is what I'm saying, Mr. Baldwin. If I can get him here, we're gonna figure it out. But no, so October 5th, be ready to come to Baltimore and come kick it with us and come kick it with one of these fantastic authors live and in person. We're very excited about it.
And if you want to sponsor or want to figure out how to sponsor us, just let us know at our email, butmakeitbooks@gmail.com.
Yeah, or our DMs are open too at this point. We check those too. So
yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. Thank you. I'm gonna go take a nap probably.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm not. I'm gonna go drink some water.
I'll nap for both of us.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Till next time, y'all. Thank y'all so much. Please keep on reading and healing, but make it bookish.
Peace, y'all. Hey y'all, it's Niccara. Thank you so much for listening to the episode. If you like it, please make sure you review, rate, and subscribe to our podcast. Of course, sharing is caring, so make sure you share with your friends and let everyone know to come into Charm City Books to get our recommendations. And thank you so much for listening again, and I'll see y'all. Be good.